is back, people. Not quite sure why Facebook is down. It got taken down for some reason. Unsure why.
That
So
was
we're
happening
gonna
to us
try.
last night
Yeah,
when we were trying to run. It wouldn't show up the page.
we gotta figure that out. But in the meantime and in between time, people, get ready for quite the eventful show. We'll be right back. Okay, well, I got Facebook up. Whether or not it'll actually show, because I saw it on Facebook ready to go, but it got taken down for some odd reason. It's kind of weird. In any case,
You're
welcome. Jay Lee's having some connection issues. The
yes.
Obama internet curse is going around. His internet's probably getting choked out right now. Too soon?
That, that's that Obama. That's that Obama internet.
Thanks, Obama. Get
That's
rid of
Yeah,
that
that whole
that
business.
Joe Obama internet.
Joe Mama
Joe
internet.
Obama.
Joe Obama internet.
All right, so we're talking about Jordan Neely today.
Mm.
This the so-called George Floyd 2.0, which I don't remotely believe.
No.
This is another mass hysteria thing because I'm going to lay out my case first, and then I'll have the other two guys when Lee comes in. He'll do his. I'm going to drop my 2 cents about the situation. Like it or hate it, this is just my 2 cents about it. So the narrative now is being pushed that it was racially motivated. Of course, that's the first thing people will go to.
Hmm.
I do not for a minute believe that it was racially motivated, considering that there were three people holding him down and one of them was not white. Um, the other thing I believe is that this has been wildly blown out of proportion and not putting the proper blame where it's supposed to be, which is on his family and on the New York justice system, who allowed this man to be free after over 40 counts of misdeeds within the public and having an active warrant. So if I'm going to blame anyone at all, it's going to be the justice system and his family, no one else. If you
Yep.
know that he was mentally ill as a family member, you should have strove to put him in a mental institute to get him some help, or at the minimum, keep him where he should have been after the 15th occurrence of a misdemeanor and violent crime. Um, the warrant that he had for his arrest was for beating an older lady almost to death. So I can't
Yep.
really feel bad for when you say on a train, I'm going to kill people on here. I'm not afraid to die. Then you shouldn't be screaming if you're about to die because you said you welcomed it. And then you chalk it up to mental illness all you want. When you make those kinds of threats and the police aren't going to do anything about it, if the police aren't going to do anything, I'm not going to wait until you do something for the 45th time, 46th time, and 47th time when the cops still don't do anything to protect myself. We have seen countless, where people relieve themselves of the duty of protecting someone else in their presence, and that person dies, and they're just sitting on the train. In fact, we've just saw it recently. Someone was on a train. This lady was on there. This man was holding her hair and dragging her to the seat,
I saw
Yep.
that.
and no one lifted a finger to beat the snot out of that guy and release the woman from his grip. No one. Everyone stood on the train like they were sissies. Now someone actually stands up for someone who was accosting a female. I know you guys are under fire a lot lately because men are taking your role. And now he's the hero. That fool's the hero. Oh, you can miss me with that. He got exactly what he asked for. He wanted death and he got it. That's what you wanted, right? You say you ain't afraid to die. Perfect. We accept your challenge. I see your death and raise you an exit strategy. How about that? So that's my 2 cents about it. What say you guys?
It's the crazy world we're living in. How now, and you've seen it with like George Floyd, and you see it with a lot of these publicized, these super political crimes that are getting publicized out there, right? They always talk about the action or whatever happened to the individual, but they never talk about what actually led up to that. They don't talk about the fact George Floyd did what he did. It's always the end result. He was killed by blah, 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 blah. Same with this guy Neely. They're not talking about how he, like you said, he was terrorizing people on the subway. They only highlight the fact that he used to dress up like Michael Jackson, showing him as this good guy. They used to put on shows for people, but they're not showing the dark side, and the dark overpowered whatever light he had at that moment of him performing. The dark side of him overpowered that. You know what I mean? So when things like this happen, especially when it comes to people of color, whatever you want to call us, black people, people of color, African Americans, we have so many terms, we have so many words, you guys just take your pick. They're always going to highlight that. Always. They're not going to talk about the fact that he was attacking a woman. They're not going to talk about the fact that he had a mental health issue. They're not going to talk about the fact that he's done this 40 something times, that he's been to jail, that he had an active warrant. You have AOC right now on Twitter who only brings up the race just because he was a black man, or just because he had active warrants, or just because he was a criminal. No one deserves the death penalty. And you're right. But at the end of the day, at least he didn't shoot him. It was with his bare hand.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
Just saying.
See, it's just one of those things where you can't turn that and that's George Floyd was trying to do. To me, when I saw George Floyd experience what he experienced, but then I saw his criminal record and I saw that he was in the middle of being on fentanyl. It was one of those things where I'm just like, okay, you're trying to make a martyr out of this guy, and why are you trying to be the type of community that is attempting to glorify criminality when that's the biggest downfall for the black community, is the glorification of criminality. So with Neely, they're trying to make a George point out. I think people are seeing it and they're responding in a way that is causing the blackists in America to rage comedically. So,
Coy.
Yeah, so I was trying to get through the robot voice going on.
No,
Jay
right.
Lee, sorry.
Keep breaking up.
No, I actually screen shared. I wanted to show kind of a video that shows how erratic this person has been in the past.
But sure, yeah, rainbow. Angry Michael. See you, Michael. Yo, that guy was crazy. What are you gonna do? 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 I'll call a cop. I'll call a cop. Punch me, nigga. I'll call a cop. You gonna do something? Whoa, swinging, huh? Swinging, man, huh? I'll call a cop. I will. I will. You ain't gonna do nothing. I just stepped on your jacket. I just stepped on your jacket, Michael. Michael, I just stepped on your jacket. See you later. What's up with that, man?
Anyway.
Okay, hold on, Coy. Why did he open his shirt exactly like
I
Michael
don't know.
Jackson?
He did it. He did.
Oh, Tito! Quit making fun of me, Tito.
Look, MJ would have just moonwalked all over that dude by now. Look, say what you want about Michael. He was a thug. Understand that. Michael was not a pushover.
Man.
Okay. Michael might have looked like he's soft, but don't push Michael.
Yeah.
Okay. If you've ever watched the music videos, don't mess with Michael.
Because he's bad.
Like
I'm
I'm sure there's
I heard stories of Michael Jackson being quite the the rough dude. Okay.
thug.
This
Right.
persona that you see is not Michael.
like I know this interaction is weird in itself, and it's probably just New York being New York, right? But it still shows that his aggressiveness has been there from the beginning. And what was reported on the train was the fact that he was acting erratic, for one. And that's the thing that sticks with me the most. He was acting erratic. Why was he acting erratic? That's the thing that nobody is talking about yet. And they haven't even done an autopsy to show if he was on anything. So I have a feeling, I have a suspicion, this is going to end up being a George Floyd case where he was on something and that chokehold contributed to his death, but it wasn't the cause for his death.
Yes.
That's where I'm leaning towards, right? He was acting erratic. He was threatening other passengers. You're locked in a train with a crazy person. What does a reasonable person do? You know, that's the question people are over skipping is, what is a reasonable expectation for a person who is threatening the lives of others and threatening violence against others, and you subdue him? They weren't trying to kill him. right? If they were trying to kill him, they could have killed him sooner. Obviously, they could have beaten him down. It was 3-on-1. It would have been an easy situation, but they were trying to restrain him. They did not have intent to kill him. Now, was it an accidental death? Yes, but I also think there's other contributing factors to that death. And that's, I think, we're going to see in the next few weeks. But the left is not going to care what that is. They're not going to care. All they see is a white dude choking out a black dude, even though there's 2 other black dudes that were there helping.
And the thing, like you said, they're making this very political. And it doesn't matter, like we said earlier, it doesn't matter what the guy was doing. It doesn't matter what he did. The fact is that they're going to politicize that a white guy choked out a black guy on the train.
Yep.
You win some. I mean, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. If they would have shot him, they would have made that political. If they would have beat him, they would have made that political. If they choked him, they made that political. So what are people supposed to do? Just take it? Just sit back there and take whatever this guy is doing, and just, we don't want to hurt nobody, so let him hurt people, but at least you're the better person for not reacting.
Right. Okay, so hear this, guys. Now, again, we want informational stuff. And the reason I'm giving his background is for this purpose here. Not saying that his background is why they should have done anything to him. Right. But a person's background should tell you about the system that they're in and whether or not he should have even been allowed to be in the situation that he found himself in. Could it have been avoided? And do you want to blame the people who had to deal with the problem it created because you didn't deal with it before? I don't think that's right. So listen carefully. He had 42 prior arrests dating between 2013 and 2021. 42 arrests. Now you can do the math. And that's less than 10 years. Less than 10 years. So you're looking at almost 4 arrests a year.
Jeez.
Well, 4.5 arrests a year. Okay. So they include 4 assaults, while others involve accusations of transit fraud. You can't have an accusation of something if he was arrested. Thank you very much. And criminal trespass. At the time of his death, Neely had 1 active warrant for an assault in connection with a 2021 incident. The fact is, he was released continuously over and over and over and over, even though he showed signs. Okay, let me clarify. 42 times you're arrested. You have yourself on video being erratic, violent, and volatile. And nobody, not your family who all of a sudden seem to know everything about you and are so concerned, nobody sought medical help for you, sought to get you off the street, and not one time in any of those times that you've been arrested did the system feel it necessary to find you and keep you confined for a bit till you are rehabilitated. Not once, in 42 times?
Yeah.
You want to blame somebody for acting on a behavior that you look, I don't care whether they saw his behavior or not prior to. I don't take the chance of somebody telling me they're going to kill me and say, oh, it won't happen. I'm not taking that chance. If you say it, I'm going to believe you are willing to do it. And if I believe you're willing to do it, I will take chances with no one when they say that. And I will take precautions to make sure you don't get that chance. I don't care who you are, male or female. If you make that threat, I have to believe that you're willing to go through with it or that you're capable of going through with it. And if you are capable of going through with it, I have to protect myself from something that you might do.
Exactly.
Okay, so I don't get this one.
And I work, everyone knows I worked in a jail system here in Austin, Texas. Very liberal city. And you'd see it all the time. It was a revolving door with guys like that were very erratic, usually homeless guys with serious mental health issues. You would just see them over and over again. And in the 5 times I was there, I must have seen it. You get to know the guys. They're in there so much because they come in, they have no money to post bond. They have nothing. And a lot of times it's some, silly or some charge like criminal trespassing or whatever, terroristic threat. And then they just release them again. And then they do it again. And then they do it again. And it's over and over. And they just come in, right back out the door. They do it again, right back out the door. So it's something with the system, and ever since we got rid of, mental institutions, I forget what year that was, we got rid of mental institutions, the actual asylums, and they got rid of those. And now these guys really have nowhere to go for treatment. A lot of people can't afford a treatment. So they go to the streets. And that's where a lot of people with mental health problems are our homeless population. And things like this has happened. This won't be the first. This isn't the first time. This is the one that's been publicized. This is the one that's made political. This has happened multiple times. Just the environment and the climate we live in now, they're making it bigger than what it really is.
He had also been on video. Now again, I'm talking directly to his family. You say it's a travesty, and he was such a good guy, and all he did was impersonate Michael Jackson and blah, 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 blah. I call you guys hypocritical and liars for one main reason. You had zero care for that family member. You don't care about him. You didn't care about him. In fact, I would go on a limb to say you hated him. He should, okay, if you have a home, should he be on the streets having to dance for money? You say you care? You're worthless. The whole family, all of you are worthless trash. You know you have a sibling on the street for the last 7 years, homeless? And now that he's dead, now you are concerned about, injustice? Shut up. You don't care about that dude. You never did care. He got crazy and you stopped caring about him, and whatever happened to him happened. He went to jail 42 times. You didn't care then. You never sought help for him. Not once. You didn't even try to bring him into your own home.
Exactly.
But now you care that he's dead because he acted up? Shut up.
And
the whole family is worthless. All of y'all are worthless.
And someone said
the people that are parroting exactly what Emily is parroting, they're all towing that same talking point of he didn't deserve to die, but you're caring about him now. Where were y'all at when you knew that this guy had mental issues? Where were you guys at? Virtue signaling crowd that all over TikTok. Oh yeah, he's a nice guy. Blah blah blah. Just where were you at? Where were all of you? Nowhere to be.
And the thing is, like, it's going on in the chat right now, is that the point Marlon brought up about the family members. Family members obviously didn't care about him. They let him live on the streets. They knew he had mental health problems. They all care. The reason they all care now, because they know that there's going to be a lawsuit. It's so political. Someone is getting paid from this. So the family member is going to come in and be like, oh, my baby, or whoever, so they can get that paycheck. But a question you have to ask a lot of people on the left, mainly on Twitter and some on TikTok, you're seeing it. You're seeing it on TikTok too. Let's say you had this crazy person as your family member. They were living in your house and they were in there doing something erratic like that, going crazy, doing something that could possibly harm you, the children in your family, another loved one in the house. What would you do? You got to put yourself in someone's shoes sometimes. What would you do at that moment? Don't think now that it happened, well, I would have done this. You have to put yourself in the moment and say, what would I have done at that moment in time? So you never know how someone's going to react, So don't judge the person that did it. Just, you got to put yourself in their shoes. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I get you, man.
It's, look, we have a problem going on right now, and that problem is this: justice is no longer something that is sought across the board.
No.
We want to complain that it's only limited to a certain brand and color of people, but I dare say, if you actually look at stats, it's really the opposite. I'm sorry to tell you, it's the opposite. Um, in cases like this, it is perpetuated in these blue states: New York, California, Michigan, Baltimore. Um, you have a situation where you know for a fact that crime, a certain type of crime, is occurring. That crime is given a lenient disciplinary action when it's the most rampant version of crime.
Hmm.
And you don't do a thing to curtail it. In fact, what you do is more of a catch and release thing because you don't want to come across as racist. So you do the complete opposite, which is not protecting the public. Now, when the public has had enough and they don't have to be as tolerant as the government and they react, they're the ones vilified. Young men that are trying to protect themselves, women that are trying to protect themselves, grown men trying to protect themselves are now villainized. And then you flip that to the other side where they're trying to remove your guns from protecting yourself while making it still okay for criminals to have them because you're not putting any actual fail safes to find the guns that are illegal. You're just trying to keep the legal guns off the hands and streets. So now you have created the perfect storm for criminals. A criminal in a blue state knows that he won't be shot. Okay?
Hmm.
So he won't be shot, one, by police, or he won't be shot by a citizen because neither one of them have guns. He'll have a gun because he didn't go through the right channels anyway. So let's take this instance. He knew that he could act a certain way in public and it didn't affect him because people couldn't do anything to him. If you watch that video, the man that's talking to him and he came up charging the man, he knew full well that if that guy had put his hands on him, the man holding the camera would have been the one to go to prison, not him. I'm telling you now, it would not have been Jordan going to prison because it would have been a big outcry of racism, and he'd get off. So we've created now this maximum overdrive fallout of if you're black and act a fool, you're good. If you're white and you don't act a fool, you're still a racist because you can't do anything right. Now, I'm not saying that racist people don't exist. They do. They completely exist. And I am sure that they do things based on the color of other people's skin. And they should be completely removed from the earth. Fully agree. But since you cannot tell in an instant like this that he did this because that guy was black and he had no other reason, your case holds no water. The instant you threaten me, I don't care what race you are, you're getting put down. The instant you charge at me after threatening me, you're going to get put down. The instant you say you don't care if you die, you definitely are going to get what you want from me. So I cannot hold a Marine in contempt of any kind. I can't hold him guilty. It is what you call doing what the police refuse to do, which is put him away permanently.
And you see it going across the country. The crime is just rampant in certain states and certain cities, and you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot more of this kind of street justice. This isn't going to be the first case. You're going to see a lot more because people are fed up. I mean, there was a video, remember, of those two young black ladies that was robbing that TJ Maxx, and that one guy stopped one of them.
Yeah.
You remember, and you're going to see more and more of this coming up because people are fed up of trying to go about their day, and somebody with some crazy crisis, mental health crisis, or just a crazy person in general is disrupting their day. Can't shoot him, can't do that. Well, I'm going to have to put my hands on this person. And if this person is trying to beat me with the arms, which is your fist or a weapon, I'm going to do what I have to do to survive with my bare hands.
Yeah.
Now, I was going to say, I got that video from Oakland. This was this weekend, the same time that all these protests were going on, right? These street takeovers have been happening almost every weekend, and this is how crazy it's been. And this isn't the first example of any of this. This has been happening like every single weekend for the last couple of months, where these these people coming out and just completely taking over the streets, lighting things on fire. There was another video just the other week of them beating a man mercilessly on the ground and videotaping it like it was nothing, like it was just a normal thing to do, right? And so like this culture of lawlessness is continuing and nobody is stopping it. The law isn't stopping it. The prosecutors aren't going to stop it because the DAs are in the pocket of George Soros, and that's who's been funding their bills, right, for their election campaigns. And now they're promising us that they're going to help with all of the over policing, but then they're actually not actually doing any of their jobs now, and that civilians have to take things into their own hands. That's why the reason we had people getting shot because they rang the wrong doorbell is because of how lawless everything has been. It's all connected to these things. It's like people do not feel safe in the United States anymore, period. We just had a dude ram a car through a bunch of people and then also a shooting this weekend at a mall, right? Those might be completely different related, but it just goes to show how many things are happening in the United States and people don't feel safe.
Yeah, just
That criminality and
imagine.
mental health is
Just imagine if the owner of that burning vehicle had, let's say, it was nighttime. Those people didn't see that there was probably a child in that car.
Yeah.
You know, and imagine stuff like, imagine if the owner of that vehicle, someone had a child or something in the car and started shooting people. They wouldn't talk about the fact, like Coy brought up, the vigilante stuff going on, the violence and the destruction. They would only talk about the guy that shot the person. They wouldn't talk about everything that led up to that moment.
no.
And that's the world we live in. You know, you vilify the heroes and you praise the criminals. You know what I mean? That's crazy.
That would
I have
also ask, also, like, and my thing is, how are we supposed to take you guys seriously? Like, the people who are committing all this lawlessness. Like, you want your voice to be heard. Fine. Great. Have at it. But if you want to be taken seriously and you want to have proper discourse, is this the way to go about doing it? Or is this just you whining about the attention you're not getting? You know?
Right. I think I pulled the right video up.
Let me know when you got it.
Yeah. Okay. So this to me just epitomizes how insane the left is. With a chunky older white woman yelling at a black cop. It's absolutely hilarious.
Why your officers take black lives? Why your officers take black lives? Your officers are taking black lives. Your officers are taking black lives.
Are y'all gonna
Your officers took black lives. Your officers
Is that a female?
Your officers.
I was gonna
Today,
say,
in today's day and age, who knows, man?
That's
Who knows?
That's a
Pam.
man, baby.
That's Pat. That's Pat right there.
Pat.
I mean, look at it. It's got a wig on. You can see it in the back right there. Ladies in the chat. You know better than we do, but my transdar is on, and
It's a trans star.
that's definitely a dude. Let me know if I'm lying.
Or a very
Those are
frumpy
moobs.
female.
Those aren't boobs. They're moobs.
Those can be
Yeah.
easily prosthetic.
stuffed
I don't know,
frosting?
dude.
Is that what's going on?
Look at
Yeah.
it. Hey,
I don't know,
everyone's
man.
saying it looks like a man. I'm telling you.
But it's like I said, it just epitomizes what the left is a white entitled liberal woman yelling at a dark skinned man saying, "Why are you taking black lives?" Just like, I mean, come
is
on,
that a white
man.
officer? That's not a white officer, is
That
it?
looks like an Hispanic. It's New
He's
York,
probably
so
Hispanic, but there's a
Hispanic
black
Puerto
officer
Rican.
right next to him, though. That's
Yep,
the
I
point
see
I'm
him
making.
right
at.
there. But you know, that's the world we live in. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's you get a lot of these white liberals who are more vocal about what's going on in the world than actual black Americans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, yes, black Americans are out there very vocal, but you got white liberals who are just about or even more, and those are the ones you see the most. And for her to be up in that
They want
officer,
clout.
be up in that officer's face like that, talking about black lives, go sit your big Burger King #3 meal eating butt down. Your breath smell
Well,
like sausages. Get
It's clout chasing. What it is. Want validation or he it was validation. And the way to do it is to be on camera virtue signaling the way
That's
these
horrible.
white liberals have always done for however long they've been around.
What?
Oh man.
You're gonna have
Poor
to. You're
Jay
gonna have
Lee.
to do
You have to
sign
leave and come
language.
back, G.
Yeah,
It's like
like, poor guy.
But you know,
I know he had a good point though. He had a good
I
point.
Yeah,
mean,
he
we
had a
can
good
sit
point.
here. We can sit here and talk and go back and forth. But what is a solution? You know what I mean?
When you do something wrong, you serve proper time. It's really
Yes.
that
I mean,
simple.
that's the
That's the key.
solution.
That's the solution.
It's
That
it all comes back to mental health, in my opinion. Like, all of this stems from a lot of mental health issues, and the point being is that this is where the lefty in me comes out. Is we're talking about healthcare, right? Is that these sort of issues do not happen in other countries where they are able to pick up people that are having mental health crises and put them in an institution. We got rid of our institutions in the late 90s, and they started deinstitutionalizing during the 50s, right? Up until the 90s, and then we got rid of them. And that's when the homeless spiked, is because we weren't able to pick these people up and put them where they needed to be to get help. And that's the issue, is that it is impossible today in America with the system that we have now with medical for people to afford certain things. And it's even worse that we cannot get people the help that they need and get them institutionalized when they need to be. Right. And so that's the main issue for me, is that healthcare is unsustainable in the United States. We have a lot of great technologies that come out from what we do, but we've overburdened the U.S. taxpayer and subsidized basically everybody else's healthcare as we go along. So Europe gets the benefit from sucking the teat of the American U.S. tax dollar, not only in defense but also in healthcare, because we're the ones that are producing the most amount of health technologies. And then they're being smug that they get free healthcare. Yeah, because it's on our backs, because we have to pay for those new technologies, right, out of pocket. And that's the thing. So, like, that's my soapbox on that, is that healthcare has to be affordable. It's not right now, and that we can't lock people up that need to be locked up when it comes to their mental health and the safety of others. That's the main reason.
Yeah.
People pushing people on trains because they're insane people.
Speaking of trains. Speaking of trains, did you see the protests where they are protesting on those subway tracks?
On the track, run them
Oh
over.
yeah. I had that video. I should have brought that up.
Run them over.
Mm.
Swear to God, just run them over. Just continue driving.
mean, that's
Ever
insane.
has it to step on
But-
the train track?
As a normal person, what does that accomplish? You standing on a train track. What does it
Just
accomplish?
annoys everybody else.
That's it. You're just pissing people off. You're pissing people off to the point to where they don't want to have nothing to do with your cause. Goes back to
Yep.
blocking traffic. You're disrupting people's lives who probably stand with you or believed in your cause until you disrupt their life. Now they're like, man, I don't want nothing to do with that crap. If this
Yeah.
is how they act, I don't want nothing to do with it.
Okay,
So they're
say what-
losing allies.
Say
you
your
know?
point quickly while you still have good connection. Go, Lee, go.
I'm just saying white liberals are useless.
Good
Okay,
point.
there you go.
Good
White
point.
There you
liberals-
go.
Before you bring up
Exclamation
that
point.
video, I want to
Okay.
address the comment brought up about the old man and the young black kid that went to his house. I think
Yeah.
it's important to understand something. The man was 80 and still is 84 years old, lives by himself.
Yep.
I want you to understand something. 84 years old, by yourself, and someone you don't know comes to your door at 10 o'clock at night. If you don't know any old people, many of them are in bed by 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Someone comes ringing your doorbell at 10 o'clock at night, you're going to get worried about it, somebody, and you don't invite them, something's up. As an older person, no one knows whether or not the person knocking at the door was black to begin with.
Mhm.
But you come to my door at 10 o'clock at night, ringing my doorbell when I didn't invite you. There's a problem. So he approaches the door with his gun. And instead of waiting for the door to get answered, the young boy starts to open the door, the storm door. At least tries to open the door. That's the dumbest thing you could possibly do, whether you're at the right house or the wrong house. It ain't
Yeah.
your house. Again,
Mhm.
I'm blaming the parents for that stupidity. You don't
Yeah.
tell your child how to handle what's going on. And if someone is trying to open my door 10 o'clock at night, I'm going to pop you. I'm not waiting to ask you why you're there. I don't care why you're there. I'm old, and the only defense I have is my gun. I don't care if you're black, white, Hispanic. If you're going to come to my door and be stupid enough to try and open it, No, no, fool. Whatever you get, because you dumb enough to go to someone else's house at 10 o'clock at night. And the parents don't go. Answer me this. Riddle me this, Batman. Why is a 16-year-old kid going to pick up his siblings at someone else's house at 10 o'clock at night?
Not knowing where they're at.
Just answer me this one. Riddle me this one. You as a
That
parent.
was the parents.
You as a parent. You're going to send your 16-year-old to somebody's house at 10 o'clock at night to get his siblings. You are a whole fool, and you should have been in front of the bullet instead of your kid, because you dumb enough to send your kid to do that? How stupid are you? And you don't even verify that it's the right house by calling? The whole thing was not that man's fault.
Technology.
Parents didn't use the phone to find out where their kid was. You don't get the right address. It's 10 o'clock at night, and you send in the youngest version of yourself to answer a door, and he's opening someone else's door.
You're damn right.
Yeah.
And think about some of the other factors. Like you said, 84-year-old man. What type of neighborhood did he live in? You know what I mean? Was it a crime-ridden neighborhood? Did he grow up in? Did he live in one of those neighborhoods where crime ran rampant? You know, we've seen those videos of late at night, they ring your doorbell, they act like they're in distress,
And they
you
kill you.
open the door,
Yeah.
and people charge into your house to rob you. That's a
The
home
only reason
invasion.
the only reason it made a national story is because the old man was white. If it had been an older
He
black
was
gentleman that
Hispanic.
shot another
he had
black
nothing.
kid, it wouldn't even have made the front page. Not a day. It never
I mean,
makes the
didn't
front
some,
page.
Didn't some little white girls get shot shortly after
And a
that?
white girl got shot in the face
Yeah.
because she was white. He actually said it was because she was white.
Because she was white. Yeah.
No one's talking about that one. Why? Because she's white.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
If you're gonna talk about racism, then talk about racism 100% of the time. It's not
And you
reverse
know,
racism.
and you know, it blows my mind that a lot of Americans cannot see it the way we see it. Just like Marlon said, we know there's racism out there. Everyone knows that. We're not stupid. But if you guys can't see what they're doing, they promote this killing, but they don't promote this killing that was done in the same fashion, just two different races. And if you're not seeing that, you really need to rethink your life and take a step back from everything and take off the freaking blinders and look at reality and look at the things that are really going on.
Untrue, because there were two incidents and neither one of them caught the case.
Yep.
The one that shot the little girl took forever for him to, one, get arrested. And even then, you don't hear anything about the case. Then there was another guy, an older white guy, who they just finished arresting almost a week after he did it and publicized that he did it because he don't like white people. They got this white guy the day after the incident. So no, it's not even remotely about the race that bringing the case.
There's
and
also
if
another
anything, the blacks get away with
There
it
was
more.
there was one that happened a couple of days ago, right?
No, there was a couple of weeks ago. There was a video of in a city where a black dude just pulls out a gun and kills a homeless
Shoots the
white
homeless
man.
guy.
Yep, that one.
Yeah. Still
That
don't know
one.
where
And
he is.
they were just
still don't
fighting
have
over
him.
cigarettes, dude.
And there was-
That was it.
There was no outrage. What about
And
the
he-
black
but
guy
they
that
didn't-
just killed two white people and he said I killed them because they
Because
were
they're
white.
Yeah.
The
There
one
was
that
no
shot the
outrage.
homeless guy
Where's
is
the
still free.
outrage?
They haven't arrested him yet.
But if the roles would have been reversed, there's a certain sect of the black community that would have been angry at that. But because it's not the opposite, the other way around, at least they weren't black. Get out of here with that crap.
Let's watch this.
Yeah. This is fun.
Great protest.
Okay, it's true. Look it up.
No justice, no peace.
I bet you they're shaking in their boots right now. Like, I hope the train doesn't come. Oh, here comes the train. This is what you call performative activism.
Yep. Wearing a Sherry Guevara shirt. You see that? The green?
Che Guevara.
Yeah. It's just, like you said, it's performative. It's just activism to activism. They don't really care. Like, it's always funny to me that Democrats only run for money when somebody dies. Do you notice that? When anybody dies, that is the perfect time to get their coffers full for the next election. They will always, always play on death every single time, whatever it is. It would be abortion or somebody dying in the subway. It's a great time for fundraising. That's what they always, always do. Same thing with the shooting in Texas. It's another great fundraising opportunity to get rid of those guns every single time.
I'm with you, Kay.
That's right. That's right. It only takes one time.
Yeah, that's true.
I am with you.
Yeah, but it's activism like this. I wonder, like after this little protest or whatever they did that accomplished nothing. I wonder if they all high-fived each other afterwards. Like, good job, Rick. All right,
Great
Chad.
job, everybody.
See you at the next one.
Let's go sniff our farts now, just like good lefties do.
You guys,
Unacceptable.
you look stupid.
You remember
Normal
that South Park
Americans?
episode where they were smug and they would fart and they would sniff their own farts? You remember that episode?
Yeah.
One of the best episodes ever, because that was a true liberal moment, man. That's what they do. They're so smug, they love the smell of their own farts.
Well, you remember that? What was it? Twilight. There was that meme going around with all the liberals with them looking down at the people like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is how these white liberal activists do. They just look down and be like, "Oh, there's something we can protest about. Let's go down there with the common folk."
Let's go protest this crap. How dare they?
One of the things that nobody ever talks about is the fact that in 2020, in the Summer of Love riots, as we call them, it was a bunch of white liberals destroying black communities.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
But they did get called out. There were certain cities they were actually getting called out. They were like, "You're over here destroying
but they were
our
still doing
city."
it.
But they didn't care.
Yeah,
They didn't care. It was a paycheck for them. They're getting paid. They're like, what normal? Like seriously, what normal white person would go into a black neighborhood and destroy something? Like
Normal?
not a
no,
normal
it wouldn't
person.
happen unless I'm getting paid. If I'm getting paid to do it, maybe. But if I'm
Uncle
not getting
Ruckus
paid,
was happy.
if I'm not getting paid, I'm not going into a black neighborhood and destroying one of their only supermarkets they have. I'm not going to do that.
Bro,
Yeah.
So they
listen
were all
carefully.
in on it.
Listen
They were all
carefully.
in on it.
Listen carefully. I've been trying to tell the black community whether or not you like me is inconsequential, okay? The allies are not your friend.
Nope.
Stop trying to be friends with these people. They do not have your best interest at heart. They are the ones keeping you back. They are the worst of the worst of the worst human beings that humankind has to offer. They don't care if you live, they don't care if you die. They think you're the dumbest human beings on earth because you need them.
Mm-hmm.
And they will say it to your face. They will look you dead in the eye and tell you, hey, you know, you can't do this on your own. You need me.
Mm-hmm.
And hold on, you know how I'm going to help you? I'm going to go into where you live and destroy the things you need in order for you to depend on me more. And then they will bring in all of their little homosexual crap into your movement. And before too long, they're going to tell you that your whole plight is just like that of gay people. And then they're going to tell you that being black is just like being gay.
Mm-hmm.
They will tell you that your skin pigmentation is not only your identity, but is the same as being gay.
Yeah.
I want you to just try and analyze that for a second. They want to put your plight, since you say you have one, as the same as picking what tool you want implemented inside your body, rectum, and between your legs.
Yeah,
That's as far as your skin color goes. I just want you to understand that.
And I'm glad you brought that up, because I watched a video of Dr. Umar today saying almost that exact same thing. And I'm not a big fan of, Dr. Umar, but he did bring up a good point when he said that. He goes, like me, I'll talk for me. When I walk outside every day, I can't hide the color of my skin. Mm-hmm. they see a black man, whether they see a good one, bad one, you don't know. They just see the color of my skin. A gay person can go outside and hide the fact they're gay. You know, they can hide it, they can act normal, and you would never know. Me, I can't hide this. So when they come in your neighborhoods and tell you that being black and gay are the same thing, we're both oppressed people. They're saying that everything the black people went through and everything they fought for is equal to what they're going through. And you should never ever trust a white liberal, like Malcolm X said. Any liberal, not just a white liberal.
Actually
any liberal.
brought that up, that quote. If Marlon wants to put that up on the screen, I want people to hear it.
Oh yeah, Jay shared it in chat. Yeah.
But
listen to what Malcolm X said. He was a radical, not my type of person I would hang out with, but he made a good point.
It's coming. Come on.
Internet today.
Yep.
Well, no, I have to take the text and put it somewhere where we can actually see it.
Well, I've got the video of it screen shared right now. If you want to just bring up the video, I shared.
Okay, yeah, bring it. I'll bring it up.
Here.
Best to hear it straight from him. I don't know if he'll get a strike for it. We'll see.
There are many whites who are trying to solve the problem, but you never see them going under the label of liberals. That white person that you see calling himself a liberal is the most dangerous thing in the entire Western Hemisphere. He's the most deceitful. He's like a fox. And a fox is always more dangerous in the forest than the wolf. You can see the wolf coming. You know what he's up to. But the fox will fool you. He comes at you with his mouth shaped in such a way that even though you see his teeth, you think he's smiling. You take him for a friend.
But Malcolm X got what?
Yeah. So that was the quote that a lot of people attribute to that, is that you cannot trust the smiling fox, is basically what it comes down to, is that they will tell you one thing with all teeth and then lie to your face why they do it. And that's what the liberals do today every single time, is they'll tell you they're doing one thing and they'll lie to you out the other side of the mouth.
And they'll always tell you what someone else is doing when they're doing it. Okay, so all four of us, or at least three of us, I don't know if Coy's on there, but three of us at least are on TikTok. TikTok is like the festering cesspool for liberal, as Jay Lee would put them, bonobos. Okay, these liberal, absolute, disgusting human beings. Two in particular that stand out more than the rest of them in terms of white allyship are Tizzy Ant. If you don't know him, know that he's a pedophile, like a 100% bona fide pedophile, child diddler. Okay, and I'll say that till the day I'm gone from this earth. That's what Tizzy Ant is. And they always have something in the closet, by the way. A lot of these allies are always either pushing child stuff on people or they're gay themselves. And then the other one is a jolly good ginger. Performative allies, and they culturally appropriate the exact same thing they accuse people of. That's what they do. He tries to talk black as often as he can to try and preach kind of way to people, and people don't see through it. He will talk down to black people in that sing song, so and so and so and so and so. He will talk just like that to promote so-called black issues. And the so-called black people don't even catch on to the stupidity that they're doing to you. They're mocking you, verbally, institutionally. They're mocking you and acting as though they have your back in these situations when they do not. They're doing it for clout and for money and for fame. They don't care whether or not your rights are seen. Because if they did, they would not try and match it up with something that's not your cause, like being gay or being trans or anything of the sort. Tackle my issue. Black issues are not gay issues, and they're not trans issues. They're just black issues. Plain and simple. It has nothing to do with being gay at all. So stop associating it with that. The instant you put your foot down there, you will see a bunch of them just leave your cause. I'm betting you money right now. The next time you see them try to match up your so-called cause for freedom with their cause for homosexuality, tell them to leave that out and watch how quick they dump your cause. Watch them say to you, well, it's one and the same. We're oppressed. Like, you are not. You chose to pick somebody. Like, you chose that. No one chooses to be black. No one chooses that. You chose to be gay. Don't give me this nonsense, but you're born that way. That's BS, and you know it. You wanted to have that perversion on you. I'm just calling it what it is. Don't try and pass it off as being a skin color. You're stupid to say that. And anyone that listens to them is stupider. Probably been to Jupiter to get more stupider. So don't hand me that. And the sooner that people wake up, the less situations like this will happen where everything's about race, and the less you'll have these white allies, so-called liberals, coming to help your cause. Because as soon as they get on the scene, the case itself will no longer be about the issue. They will take it into race. Okay. And once it goes into that, you have now negated that person's life that died. If you say you cared about him, you cannot afford to make it about race. Make it about the situation. And the situation is that he had mental problems and his family hated him. And the system failed him that was supposed to help with his mind. Blame that, not white this and white that. Blame the family for abandoning him and throwing him to the streets. Blame the police for arresting him 42 times and doing nothing to actually help. And blame the system that you say is racist for allowing his mental health to continually decline. This has nothing to do with that Marine. The Marine was the end result of the entire 42 tirades that he went on prior to. Don't bring this race crap to me. It's not going to fly at all.
Yep.
And the thing with mental health has been talked about so much, but they keep pushing mental health to the side. They keep pushing it to the side. That should be one of the number one things. Mental health should come before abortion, should come before all this transition therapy crap, all that. Mental health should be at the top of the freaking list.
Yep.
Because everything stems from that. So if you can target that and identify that and identify the problem, you would start slowly seeing a lot of these other issues kind of get under control or disappear. But they'll put abortion, they'll put all these other issues above mental health and not even blame it on mental health. They won't even blame it. So they just push it to the side and be like, we'll talk about that later. Let's focus on the murder.
Yeah.
Okay. There had to be a reason why that happened.
Look. He was saying enough to make threats.
Yeah.
He was.
Fair enough.
He was.
Fair enough.
He was coherent enough to say, I'm going to beat the tar off you. I want my food and I ain't afraid to die.
Hey, look, I don't know if it was
man.
a meme. I don't know if it was a joke, but somebody said they erected a statue of him in New York. Was that a meme?
I don't know, but I would believe
coming. It's probably
No,
coming.
I saw a statue. It looked like Michael Jackson, like he was standing there. I was like, man.
That was the same with George Floyd when they made all those murals everywhere.
I'll just wait for the lightning.
Like that.
I'll just wait for the lightning.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was pretty.
Yeah,
funny.
it got struck by lightning.
If y'all want to
you're
create
right.
another statue to worship, I'm gonna just wait till God said, "Oh, bet." Dust. I'm gonna just wait for that because when that happened, I will be laughing. Oh my gosh, I'll be laughing. When that thing that goes up in smoke.
So, I mean, at the end of the day, man, all this, everything that's happening in our country, this, that, and this, it's that old Marxist tactic. You have to create chaos. They have to create chaos.
Don't let a good crisis go to waste.
Yep, don't let a good crisis. Hillary Clinton said that.
Yep.
Well, multiple people said it, but she's known for making that statement. But, they have to make it very chaotic for the average American. So the big government can swoop in and say, we're here to save you. We're here. And the way we're going to save you is by doing this, and you're going to like it because we're looking out for your safety and security.
Yeah.
When they say that, what comes after? Sudden destruction. Just remember that.
Politicians always do that. They'll promise you the world and the moon, and then once they get elected, it's like, oh, what's your name?
Chocolate chip.
Every single time. They'll look at Black America, especially the Democrats, and they'll go, I need your help to get elected every single time. And then when it comes to dealing with your black issues, we'll do it next election season.
I want to address this. It's been I saw your comments all through, and I was hoping that you'd self-correct. But since you didn't self-correct, I'll help you self-correct.
Let me go ahead and mute.
Wrong is wrong. Did he have to choke him to death 5 minutes? Police would have been there. He held the choke for 15. If the police would have been there in 5 minutes, they would have been there in 5 minutes. If he held them for 15 minutes, it means it took the cops 15 minutes to get there.
Yeah, and here's the thing: is there was a video recently that just released today showing the rest of the context of the video, showing that he was still alive and breathing after he let go. Like I said, I think this is going to be a case that he was on something that contributed to his death in the same way that George Floyd died, right? It wasn't the factor, but it was a contributing factor to his death. He was still alive and breathing when he let go, and they even put him in a recovery position. If he was if his intent was to kill Jordan Neely, he would not have stayed there, obviously. Neither of those people. And this is the thing people don't understand, is if they charge like the guy, the Marine in this case, they're going to have to charge the other two people that helped him in the commission of that
and
crime.
Have to train. They sat there and watched it happen.
Yep.
Okay.
They're an accomplice. The whole train is. And the
Now,
person
hear me out.
videotaping the whole thing is an accomplice.
What as a civilian tells me that the threat is over? What tells me that the threat is over? If you still moving, you're the same individual that made that threat to me 15 minutes ago. And if you watch the chokehold, it was not a true chokehold. It was enough to keep him subdued, but it was not fully rendered. If he had got him in a rear naked, he'd have been out in 30 seconds.
Yep.
30 seconds.
Sure would have.
And he wouldn't have had to die because he would have been out cold. And then he would have been popped up in about 2 minutes.
More than likely,
put him back into it again.
And to Dion, you know, that guy got off easy, because if he would have ran into a guy like me or somebody that's a little more aggressive, I would have beat the brakes off him while I was choking him out. So he got off easy. But then you went on the front page anyway. You know what? Yeah. Hey. Oh well. No one gets off easy, man. You don't have a right as a citizen to threaten somebody and make threats and then be like, oh, just call the cops. No. If I feel like you're going to threaten me, I'm going to do what I have to do as a man. Myself. Period.
I have the skills to put you out. I'm gonna put you out. I'm gonna twisted T you if I have to.
Yep.
Easily twisted T you.
See, people like that make comments like that don't put themselves, like we said earlier. You're not putting yourself in that person's shoes. You're thinking on the outside. You're just watching. You're seeing whatever clip you saw. You'd be like, well, maybe they should have just called the police and da 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 da. Put yourself in his shoes, and what would you have done?
Right.
Threats lead to action.
It don't matter.
If you know anything about self-defense, let me give you all a tip, because I teach self-defense. Let me give you a tip about self-defense. You do not wait for a threat to become active to be proactive against a threat.
Yeah.
In fact, it is best that you negate it at the point of a threat before it becomes the action. If someone walks up to you and they're grandstanding to the point where they are in your face, that is the moment that you put to death the threat. I don't wait until you swing at me. I will cold cock you right there on the spot for even breathing in my face, fool. I'm like a straight up right hook to your jaw. You out. You don't get the chance to look at me cross. You don't get the chance to step in my face. You don't get that. The instant I say, don't come near me, and you take a step, you're telling me I am ready to have my face rearranged by your hands. And I will oblige you. I will help you visit the doctor to either have your teeth rewired and redone, your jaw showed. I will help you arrange that. I will make sure you get it. But don't ever come to me and act like if I'm supposed to wait until you hit. Fool, please, no. I will be the aggressor after you make the threat. If you feel froggy enough to come to my face, you should be froggy enough to explain why you got this.
Take that ass whooping.
So here's the thing that people kind of misunderstand about the law is that assault is also threatening. If you would threaten somebody, that is assault. If you hit them, that is battery, right? So assault and battery means you threaten them and you hit them at the same time.
Yeah, and there's something called a terroristic threat.
Yeah.
Which you can be arrested for.
You forfeit everything from me.
So once you threaten me, that's it. I'm not asking any questions. I'm not waiting for the police, or if you threaten a family member or a friend, or if I'm on that train and I see you threatening people that probably can't defend themselves, it's game over for you. And I take what I'll get. Choke.
Plain and serious, man.
Plain and simple.
Pow.
If you want to be one of those dudes that sit up there and videotape the whole incident because you're too much of a freaking coward to step up and do something, that's between you and God. But God didn't create man to be a coward, and God despises cowards.
Here's another thing. is that a couple of months ago there was a woman on a New York City train that was raped in front of an entire car full of people, and nobody did a damn
No one
thing.
did a thing.
Not a single person helped that woman, right? And so this is what we've seen from now. This is the consequences of actions like these. This teaches people to not get involved. If there's somebody that needs help, they're going to be like, man, I don't want to go to jail because you're getting messed up. I'm not going to go to jail to help you out. That's what this is going to lead to every single time. It's the same thing if somebody helps somebody and they sued them, right? There was a tweet about that in China where they were very helpful to the elderly, right? Because that's how they're supposed to respect their elders. Same thing. Sorry, little one's getting in the way. But the point is the fact that they stopped helping people in China because the old lady sued the young man for helping her, right? And it's the same situation now, is that we're seeing the consequences of helping people. Why would I go out of my way to help somebody if it's going to lead me to negative
results.
issues in the future, right? Negative results in the future is like, this guy's going to go to jail for murder for trying to help people on a train. Right? If they would have done something to that dude that was raping that chick on the New York City subway, and that person killed that person, right? They're now going to go to jail for murder while he is, because of what they helped, right? And so that's where we're at in the United States, is that you can't help people without consequences.
Well, some people, I'm still going to do it. If I see you doing that nonsense, trust me, you out.
Hey, lying.
Lights,
But
camera, action.
Let's say if that guy was raping somebody and that happened, they wouldn't talk about the fact that he was raping somebody.
Right?
They would talk about the fact that a white guy killed him. That's the world we live in. This is
all he
where
was trying to do was get him some.
He didn't have to kill him for putting his hands on that female.
It wasn't rape. It was just regular rape.
God.
Okay. In any case,
yeah.
I want people to understand something, that this is going to happen again. The closer we get to 2024, you're going to see more of it, because they're going to start propagating it. Do I believe this was staged? No. Do I believe it was instigated? Yes, because they would let him go 42 times. They were hoping something would take place so they could have it. Trust me and believe me on that one. The reason that they never got him on that next chart that he had a warrant for, you knew where he was. He dances. He's on camera all the time. You know where he was. You could have picked him up. Don't lie to me that you couldn't pick him up. You knew where he was. They didn't do it. So in any case, what I want you to understand is that this is going to end up happening again. It will. But we'll talk more about some other things coming up Wednesday. I can't give you away the secret, but we might have a special guest on Wednesday. And when you hear what they're about, man. Anyway, so keep your ear to the ground. I'm going to make sure I can secure that guest first, and then we'll talk more, and I'll drop the advertisement for it on Tuesday. But in the meantime, in the between time, Jay Lee apologizes for his Obama internet today. And he says it will not happen again. He's going to switch to Michelle Obama internet instead. He's going to have a
Big Mike.
He's going to transition.
Big Mike's internet.
Yeah, he's going to have Big Mike internet. It should be a little stronger, a little more manly, carries a little more weight. And so we'll talk on Wednesday. In the meantime, please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't. But make sure you like and share this video. Share it out. We need to get this thing boosted up. We need to get this moving. And if not, we can say goodbye. But please, and in the meantime, in between time, make sure y'all take care of yourself, and we'll catch up on Wednesday. We out. Peace.